Hey, how you doing? A couple weeks ago now, a genuine dream came true for me because I got my first ever Kiesel guitar. This was actually during the time that they were preparing for the launch of the new Kaiba model, and I didn't realize that during that time they were reaching out to pretty much every popular guitar YouTuber and sending them one of the Kaiba models without telling them what it is first. And so, lucky for me, I reached out to their artist relations social media guy, Brandon, before they could get to me. Now, I'm not sure if they were planning to reach out to me. In any case, I got there first, which means I was one of the only people who got to spec out his Kiesel for that run that they were sending out to creators. And if you've already seen the unboxing video and my raw, unfiltered joy in it, then you will have already seen my British Racing Green V220. And so, one thing that I've been wondering for a long time now is whether Kiesel guitars are still worth it in 2025, because obviously Kiesel has been around for a long time. Even before they were called Kiesel, they were called Carbon under the previous ownership, so they've been around for a long time, and odds are, if you're around on the market for that long, you may eventually become obsolete even if you still stick around. I'm not going to name any names here, Fender, Gibson. And so, as much as I did know that Kiesel guitars were still of great quality, I really wanted to dive into whether it's still worth buying one in this day and age. And so, before I go any further, let me just run you through the specs of my specific guitar that I've specced out here. Kiesel has a vast catalog of options, and there is a thing called option 50, where basically if you pick an off-menu option that you can't just select on their website, but that you have to specifically inquire about, it becomes non-refundable and non-returnable, or you have to pay a massive restocking fee. I'm not really entirely sure how it works, but it's basically a guitar that they will not just take back and restock. And one thing that I did have to email about that I couldn't select in the online builder was the single pickup configuration, so I'm pretty sure that this qualifies as an option 50 guitar, even though the rest is perfectly a la carte, if you will. 25-inch scale length. It's obviously a V220. The finish that I chose is British Racing Green. I chose it specifically because I like Bentleys in British Racing Green, and they did not disappoint with this. The headstock is also painted in a matching color. It's got a standard maple neck, not roasted or anything, a black Richlight fretboard with 24 jumbo stainless steel frets, and these staggered offset dot inlays that I've made pink because I like pink and I think it looks absolutely ridiculous combined with the green and the black. It's got a 14-inch fretboard radius, and, well, the thing about that is I have absolutely no idea what that means. I know what a fretboard radius is, but I don't know what 14-inch means in this context, like how it feels, how it differs from others, because fretboard radius is not something that I've ever paid attention to, ever. I have many guitars, and I don't know the fretboard radius of a single one except on this one because I selected it, and even then I still had to check the spec sheet to remember. I'm sure that there are guitars that I gel with more or less, and one of those factors, at least subconsciously, is the fact that they sit in your hand differently because of the fretboard radius, but I couldn't really tell you the differences besides like, oh, that's wider and that's thinner, and so I didn't really care. I just kind of selected whatever, and I have to say I'm very, very happy with it, so any future custom 6-string that I have made will probably also just be a 14-inch because I've now proven that it's nice. It's got one Kiesel lithium bridge pickup with a black cover. Again, no neck pickup at all because why would I need that? String through body with the Tune-o-matic, and this particular Tune-o-matic bridge is recessed into the body. Also, this thing is an absolute fingerprint collector because of the satin finish that I've chosen. But if you can see that, the screws that keep it in the body are not visible. You can still adjust the string action, obviously, using the flathead screws on the top. It doesn't have the wheels or anything on the sides, so it just kind of looks a lot slicker. It just has a lower profile, and I enjoy it. One volume, way out of the fucking way of the picking hand. And I'm not sure if this is the standard spot for the volume, because they do have an option in their configurator that's like delete tone and move the volume knob out of the way. I might have selected that, I'm not sure, because in this configuration there is no way in hell I will ever come anywhere near the volume pot with my picking hand. No tone, also no coil split, because why would I need that? This thing is just an absolute riff machine. Oh, also, it does have lumen-lay side dots. I completely forgot about that until I was playing it in the dock at some point and then realized again. And for anybody wondering where the output jack is, it is right here. Now, this positioning does mean that you will need an angled jack cable, and it just so happens that I don't have one, so I'm gonna have to buy one at some point. Up until now, I haven't really played it that much in classical position because the cable sticks into your leg. Now, this guitar was sent out to me by Kiesel free of charge. I'm not being paid for this video though, and as usual, all thoughts and opinions are my own. Everybody says that, and it's usually true, unless your name is Tyler Larson. I'm so sorry. It was just a genuine moment of joy for me receiving that V220, because I mentioned in the unboxing video why I've always wanted a Kiesel V220. It was just so cool. While I was spending some time playing it to, gather enough experience and enough impressions of it to actually be able to make a review video, I realized just how good Kiesel guitars are. Because I have very few guitars in my collection that make me want to play that badly just by looking at them. Now again, that is probably just also the personal bias of always having loved the V220 shape. If this was like a Vanquish, I might not feel the same way. But as it is, having spec'd this out to my specifications and just finally having this Kiesel that I've always wanted, I am so stoked on it. Honestly, it is so amazing. Now, if you spec out the exact same V220 that I did, the price in the configurator will end up somewhere around $2,870, I think. But again, that is with 2 pickups. I'm not sure if they knock a little bit off if you remove a pickup. I feel like probably because they get to keep a pickup. And I know that will have people bitching in the comments, because why would you ever spend more than $1,000 on a guitar? I've read things online lately that have said there is no reason to pay $1,000 for a guitar unless it is custom made. Where are you getting a custom made guitar for $1,000? It's not 1979 anymore. I'm really, really sorry. Money is not worth what it used to be. You can tell when you go to the grocery store, but for some reason, you return home from the grocery store, want to buy a guitar, and expect it to still be the way that it used to be. Money has lost value. $2,800 for a guitar of this fucking quality is honestly insane. And I'm gonna get straight to the negatives right now as well, because there is literally only one. And that is the fact that you can definitely feel the transition here between the satin finish and then just the tung oil maple neck. But I'm also not sure how you would prevent that, because obviously there is a thick coat of solid color finish on here, and there is no coat of anything on here. It's not sharp or anything, it doesn't annoy you while playing, and also I've tried picking at it to see if anything would come off. It does not chip, it's just that you can definitely feel it, but it's not harsh or anything, it's just kind of there. And that is the negative on this guitar. That's it. Perhaps if they had sent me some random Kaiba that I didn't get to spec out, so in a color that I didn't want, in specs that I didn't want, maybe even extended range even though I don't want a 7-string, I might feel differently about it. But that's the appeal of Kiesel. It's a custom shop company. You don't have to buy anything off the shelf. you can customize whatever you want so that you will end up with no complaints about it. While since the inception of Kiesel, or Carbon rather, so many other custom guitar companies have popped up, many of which I admire so much, like Aviator, who made me this absolutely insane Pilot series purple and gold beast that I am also going to do an in-depth review on soon. But nobody does Kiesel except for Kiesel. They have original shapes that I've never seen anybody copy. I've never seen a knockoff Vanquish Superstrat, a V220, a Veda Headless, or something like that. They do have, like, PRS copies and Strat copies. I would never buy those personally, right? Because I just don't see a reason to buy a Kiesel if it's basically just going to be a different kind of guitar that Kiesel built. When I think Kiesel, I think V220, I think Holdsworth, I think Jason Becker. Sure, it's just a Super Strat, but the specs are unique. And so while undoubtedly the brand has had controversy in the recent past, as well as a lot of competition, even, decades ago, I could not love this thing any more than I do, and so I have to just 100% recommend you buy one of these if you want an amazing custom guitar. If this sucked, if I disliked anything about it, I would tell you, because I would be so disappointed myself, because I have always wanted a V220. It has always been one of my favorite guitar shapes in the world. I've considered buying a vintage Carbon one so many times, but the specs just weren't right for me. And so if there was anything wrong with this guitar, I would be so pissed that I would tell you and I would rant about it to no end. But it's just perfect. It is the way that I always dreamed it would be. And so if you've always been an Alan Holdsworth fan, and you really want an Alan Holdsworth Kiesel, and you're afraid that you might not like it as much as you thought you would, do not be. If you like thrash metal, and you want a fun, fucked up shape to play thrash metal on, and you're afraid that it might arrive fucked up and they won't take it back or anything, genuinely don't be. I understand, but that shit was 5 years ago, and honestly, I would not work with this brand right now if things were still the way that they used to be. They might not be the best option if you're from Europe. That, I will give you that. If you're based in Germany like I am, and you buy an Option 50 guitar, you pay all this shipping, you pay all these customs fees that you're not getting back, and then you pay return shipping and restocking for it if there is something wrong with it, and issues can happen with any brand, of course. There is always a percentage of anything, whether it's guitars, iPhones, or cameras, that is just gonna have some flaws about it. And if you're based in Europe, that might not be the best call for you because it will just end up really eating a hole into your pocket. But if you're based in the US, like the vast majority of my viewership is, if you're Canadian, like another quite large percentage of my viewership is, or if you're European and you have a shitload of money, I thought I was going to have to wait until like late summer, until at least August for this thing to be finished, and it was finished weeks ago. It arrived in this beautiful hard case that I had slight difficulty opening. How do you do it? Is there a key here that I'm not seeing? Ow. Is there a key in the box that I'm not seeing it? No, there's nothing in the box. Nothing in here. Oh, it can't be that difficult. It's just a guitar case. How can I not figure out how to open the case? This is a bad joke, right? How to open Kiesel guitar case. How to open a Kiesel hard case. There's a tutorial. Oh! I'm such a dipshit. So I thought this over here, this was a button. It's no, there you go. Genuinely, when I showed them that video after it went up, I got an email back saying they've had somebody like saw their case open before because they couldn't open it. So it's not just me. You might want to look into some R&D for your fucking case locks, man. But is Kiesel worth it in 2025? 100%. If my guitar cost 3,500, I would say no. That would be too much money for what I've spec'd out. You can spec it out to cost 3,500, but honestly, I've noodled around in the configurator so much, I would have a hard time doing that unless I've spec'd it out using the most exotic woods and amazing specs ever, and those always end up looking like complete shit. If you want a guitar with reasonable but high-end and modern, well-finished specs, big jumbo stainless steel frets, Richlight fretboard, lumen lathe, side dots, all of that, I cannot recommend Kiesel enough. There is a link in the description, not an affiliate link by the way, I don't make a penny off of it, even if 10,000 of you were to buy a Kiesel through that link, I would not see a penny of it, so don't worry. There are affiliate links though for Dominant Sweetwater if you would like to just, shop some of the gear that I use for these videos, shop your own gear, support the channel a little bit. But I give my heartiest recommendation to you to try Kiesel out if you have the budget. You can also get below 2,800. It's not like that's the bottom end. I'm pretty sure you can get a Kiesel for as low as like 1,600. That's like the most base specs in the configurator. I did add a lot of shit onto it that costs extra money. The Richlight, the lumen lathe, the this and that. This video was unscripted. As I'm sure you could tell, my teleprompter is over there to the left of the camera, and usually the camera will be behind it and I will be reading a script that I wrote days prior while making these videos, because I just find that it kind of keeps me more organized and whatever. You can tell I'm not speaking all that fluidly because I have no idea what I'm going to say next, really. For this particular guitar, I just felt that that was the way to go. It wasn't anything that I had to memorize a certain spec list of, or just like, talking points for stuff I'll forget otherwise, because I spec'd this out. And even though it's just a single humbucker guitar with a tunematic, in its simplicity, it is one of the best guitars that I have, and definitely, like, in the top 3 6 strings that I've ever played ever. I also wasn't sure about the Kiesel lithium humbucker, like whether I was gonna like it or not, but it's not an in-house pickup the way Jackson gives you an in-house pickup. This thing is made very, very nicely. I'm sure you can get Duncans and Fishmans and whatever in your Kiesel. I mean, there are artists who have signature models with Fishmans, but honestly, if you switched the Seymour Duncans in my Aviator for lithium humbuckers, I know there's a difference, but not like for the worse. So, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Kiesel for making my V220 dream come true, and also just making this video possible, of course. Leave a comment, tell me what you think of my configuration. It's gotten mixed reviews from outsiders so far. Subscribe, link to Kiesel guitars in the description, or just go to their website. It's not an affiliate link anyway. And I'll see you around.